If you've clicked on this video, you probably had the same reaction as me when I decided to play this game. The History Channel Battle for the Pacific. Well, what the fuck is that? For a bit of context, the way I decide which game I'm going to play next for the channel is that I have a huge list of the games I want to play. Some of these games date back to the 80s and 90s, others haven't even been released yet. I then put this list in the wheel of names thing you can do on Google, and whatever game it spits out is the game I play next. With that being said, usually after I search up the game, I remember putting it on the list and I remember what the game is. But I must have been very drunk when I found this game because it is so hidden that I am shocked I even heard about it in the first place. That is until I saw who developed this dumpster fire and the memories all came flooding back to me. That developer being Cauldron. Cauldron is an infamous gaming studio. I wouldn't be shocked if you've never heard of them before, as their only high-profile game they've made is a sequel to the Soldier of Fortune games named Soldier of Fortune Payback. A game that was so bad it literally killed the entire franchise. I myself have never played the Soldier of Fortune games. I just randomly stumbled across the story one night and fell into a little bit of a rabbit hole on how bad this developer is, which probably led me to this game. And if you're wondering from the title of this game, yes, the History Channel did hire Cauldron to make games. I think there's at least 3 or 4 that the History Channel actually gave to Cauldron. Let's move on to the game's story. What is it, you may ask? Well, I don't really know myself, actually. It's obviously set in World War II, and the cutscenes talk a lot about this general who you never actually see in game, so I'm guessing you're one of the soldiers under his command. But other than that, I have no idea what this game's story is, who characters are, or even what the purpose of our missions are. The game just kind of starts, then nothing happens throughout the entire thing, and then kind of abruptly ends. Before talking about the gameplay, I first want to talk about how to actually acquire this game, as it was a bit of a mission to figure out. I first started by checking all the storefronts: Steam, Xbox, Epic Games, PlayStation, GOG. I looked everywhere and couldn't find it. I then did some research and found out that this game is abandonware now, meaning that it's discontinued from all online storefronts, and the only way for me to buy it was to get a used physical copy. I then went to Amazon and searched up the game and found out that this game goes for the ridiculous price tag of $100. Knowing full well how bad this game was going to be, I wasn't willing to drop that kind of money, which meant I started searching for more dubious means of obtaining the game. I then found this website called myabandonware.com, which allowed me to install and play it. Upon launching the game, I went to my settings to find a very lackluster list of things I can change, but I did decide to change my resolution to one that better suits my monitor, which is when this started happening to my PC. So this game is making my computer make this noise. Right, it doesn't usually make this high-pitched noise, and then whenever I press a button on my keyboard, it changes the sound of the noise. That's cooked. The way I fixed this was by leaving the resolution at its default, which is the lowest. Whilst on my actual monitor this was fine, all this meant was that in my recording there are these black boxes on the side of the screen, which is what I was trying to either avoid or at least minimize. Also, setting up this game to record was very annoying because whenever you launch, close or alt tab out of the game, it throws all the other windows everywhere, meaning I had to keep dragging my OBS back to the position of the screen where I wanted it. Anyway, after all that bullfuckery, I finally got into the first level and almost immediately found another issue. I couldn't kill anyone. It turns out this is one of those games where the physics are tied to your FPS, and if you're doing more than 60 frames per second, the game just breaks. I then decided to go to the game settings to turn VSync on, as that has helped me in games I do this before, only to of course find that it wasn't there. This is an easy fix though, as you can lock the frame rate and turn VSync on in your AMD or Nvidia control panel. The only issue with it is that it required me to tap in and out of the game, which threw my windows everywhere again, meaning I was already starting to get pissed off with this game, and I haven't even played a full 5 minutes of it yet. At this point I decided to change my FOV, as I'm one of those people that gets mad headaches from playing on low FOVs. Of course you can't change this in the game settings, so I decided to go through the game's files and I couldn't find anywhere where I could change it. So I decided to preemptively chug a bunch of painkillers and just power through it. Now that we've talked about something the game doesn't have, let's talk about something it does have. mouse acceleration that you can't turn off. And I think this is the worst mouse acceleration I've seen in any game. In other games where you can't turn off mouse acceleration, usually changing the sensitivity slightly helps. But in this game, no matter what you change your sensitivity to, it's going to feel atrocious. Graphically, the game is horrible too. This game came out in 2007, which is the same year as games like Halo 3 and COD 4 came out. But I wouldn't blame you if you thought this game came out in the late 90s, which I actually did before I did research for the video. This game also doesn't have a proper aiming mechanic. Obviously you can see in the footage that I'm aiming, but all this does is make your camera zoom in slightly. Your gun stays just as inaccurate when you're hip firing as it does when you're aiming. This combined with the horrible mouse acceleration makes shooting at long distances very hard and annoying. But you probably won't be doing much long distance fighting, as the enemy AI is so dumb that most of the time they just run straight at you and die. And if they aren't doing that, they'll just stand still out in the open and shoot you. The thing is, they can take cover and sometimes do, but this seems to be pretty uncommon. The friendly AI is no better. Most of your mission's objectives will consist of following your NCO or whoever it is to an objective, but their AI is so buggy that they will sometimes just stand still and go nowhere. The only consistent way that I could find to fix this was by throwing a grenade at them, which would cause them to run away from the grenade and would fix their pathfinding. Now this game is a World War II shooter first and foremost, but there's actually a secret subplot where you and your NCO are actually in a gay love affair. Because whenever you're following him as the objective, he wants you to always have two fingers in his butt at all times. Because if you literally go more than 10 meters away from this man, you will start being warned about how you're not following orders and may even fail the mission. Good on the thing that World of Warcraft. I'm on the fucking objective marker. How are you saying I am not following orders? I failed a mission once because I stopped to pick up an enemy's gun for ammo, but because the NCO decided to keep running, I eventually got too far away from him and failed. Was there a Type 100? There was. Ooh. Mission. Why'd I fail the mission? He also likes to play a bit of catch and kiss with you, as he runs a lot faster than you, meaning if he starts running, you don't have time to stop and look at the scenery. You have to be up his butt or it's mission over. I actually failed more missions this way than by actually dying. Friendlies will also repeat the same 3 or 4 voice lines over and over again in combat, which is very annoying. But that's not the only thing this game likes to repeat, as it also likes to reuse levels. The first level in the trenches on the beach gets reused at least 3 times, and like every other level in this game, it's boring as fuck. To top it all off, I only thought this game was about 1 hour long, but I was very mistaken. It turns out this game is 2.5 hours long, but it feels like you're there for 4 hours due to how bad it is. Oh, and if you guys are wondering why the Halo 3 soundtrack has been playing throughout this entire video, that's because this game's soundtrack is the same like 30-second to 1-minute drum loop just repeated over and over and over again. And it gets very repetitive after a while, so I didn't want to subject you guys to that. Anyway, to finally conclude this video, this game fucking sucks. Don't bother ever trying to get this game, it isn't worth the time or the hassle. That's it for today's video, bye.